I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, we have a new friend with us. And Sarah, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, hello, first of all, and thank you so much for having me. I'm actually thrilled to finally be here with you, and we have everything set up. So thank you. Who I am, I looked at that question and I thought, gosh, that is a really good question. And I think oftentimes we fall back on, kind of what we do as who we are. And so for me, who I am is I'm a white Caucasian woman with non-apparent disabilities. My pronouns are she and her. And really who I am is I'm an activist and I'm an advocate for disability inclusion and equity for people with disabilities. I'm also the founder and CEO of Eye Level Communications. We help businesses do disability inclusion with confidence. I like to say that. And really, I consult on strategy and provide training for nonprofit, government, and for-profit businesses. I'm also a public speaker, and I do strategic planning for government and nonprofit organizations on adaptive recreation and wellness.
Wow, that's impressive.
Thank you. I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Oh, and your last question, though, was what I
What do
love
you love?
most about it. So I'm a member of the disability community. And so I feel most comfortable when I'm in that space with my peers in that community as opposed to the non-disabled community. And so I feel like this is where I really gain a lot of valuable knowledge and insights, and where I feel most happy as I am in this body. And so helping ensure that the next generation of people with disabilities don't experience what a large majority of the current disability population has endured is really important to me. So I love knowing that I'm making an impact, and that I'm changing people's minds and perceptions about disability and the disability community.
Yeah, that's a amazing work that you do. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for helping not just, well, obviously helping the community, but not just the community, but the surrounding community, and enlightening them and educating them on the challenges that the disabled community does have, that some of us may not even think about without it being brought to our attention.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was in LA yesterday and I was doing a training or facilitating a training and a workshop around EV charging station accessibility. And
Mm.
it was just a beautiful mixture of people. I lived in LA for 17 years, so my community is there, the disability community. And so I was able to really connect people to the community there,
Okay.
for engineers and site designers to see how people interact with these charging stations. And so I remember a few years ago, I asked somebody, I said, they were talking about a specific issue. And I said, is that a disability issue though? And they said, everything's a disability issue. And when we think about it, I like to tell people that it's not the disability that's the issue. The issue is the fact that we work within systems and structures that weren't created with us and with all people with disabilities in mind. And so it's really going beyond a compliance to how do we really get to inclusion and equity beyond risk, liability, and compliance.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to think about. That to even start your day, you have to be able to overcome that to even work or be out in public. And, somebody who doesn't have those challenges just goes on about their day and not even thinking about that, but yet then probably still complaining, if they're anything like me, complaining about the simplest little, thing that they run across that slows them down, you know?
Which is okay, which is okay. You don't feel badly about that, right? We're all
Right.
human beings, and I think that's the perception that we're trying to change. Just in the same way that you complain about things, this is a community that also complains about things. And I like to say, we can connect around shared experiences. We don't have the same experiences, but we can connect around some of the shared experiences that we do have, that bridges that gap and between the two communities, really.
Right, right. And I love that you spoke about, being in your community and drawing strength from that, and that you form strength from talking to, other people who have challenges as well.
Hmm. Absolutely. It's very
Yeah.
empowering.
Yeah, that's
Very
great.
empowering.
That's really good. That's really
Thank
good.
you. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And you,
so I go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, and you're right, it is a challenge. When I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in January of 2011. I
Okay.
also have a very rare inner ear disease, that is called superior semicircular canal dehiscence, a mouthful. And I
Yeah.
went undiagnosed and misdiagnosed for almost a decade. And
Wow.
the real only difference between the MS and the SSCD as far as symptoms go is what's called autophony. And autophony is hearing your internal organs at an extreme level of loudness, to a point where my heartbeat was so loud in my left ear that it would basically drown out any other sound around me. And
Wow.
it was a challenge, for me to get the services that I needed. And what that taught me is that we're really seeing disability from a very white, middle class, upper middle class perspective when we think about access and inclusion and health equity. And for the fact that it took me 10 years, it really helped me acknowledge the fact that people in marginalized communities, which are majority people of color, are not, more than likely, not getting the care that they need. And they're
Right.
living with a disease like this, where it greatly diminishes your quality of life. And so I like to advocate and share my story so that people understand that this is what happens to all of us, in the hopes that I can clear a path for other voices and amplify other voices that aren't like me from middle class white perspective.
Right, right. And I love what you said it now, and you said it a little earlier in our conversation, where you want to make it better for the next generation or the next group coming up, dealing with similar or same issues, but so that it's a little bit easier for them each time. It's a little bit easier for the next group of people, so that one day it's more of an equalized life experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it really is just a way we all experience the world and everything around us in a different way, right? And that's the beauty of it. And also where we get into trouble, where we don't feel like we can connect or have conversations. And disability is uncomfortable for people, I've learned. And for me, I really try to mitigate that fear and that discomfort, and the fact that we like to go to risk and liability, as I said earlier, right away on that, but really looking at people as human beings. And I think for me, I know, some of the challenges for me, I've publicly disclosed my disabilities, right? So there's no space where that's not part of who I am
Okay.
publicly.
Okay.
And that's very important to me, because I feel like we're silenced about what we experience, and we're marginalized because of the perception of our disabilities and how they may impact how we work or live or play. And so the challenge for me oftentimes is doing this work within systems and structures that are still discriminating against people with disabilities. So it's and so I'm I have have this marginalized kind of othered feeling when I'm at work in the workplace, but then also just in life, right? I'm fighting for everything I need in healthcare and medical. And then on the other side, I'm fighting for accommodations or things like that as I'm training everyone about disability inclusion. So it's such an interesting space to be in as well. And I believe one of your guests is a coach, a burnout coach.
Yeah.
And I watched that and I thought, gosh, that's really great because it is true. And going
Yeah.
back to what you said, I go back to my community to reinvigorate me, to remind me why I do this work. And
Yeah.
the other thing that's really interesting is I was sitting in a webinar the other day, and this big Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 company was talking about a neurodiversity program they're launching. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, on one side, I was sad for myself that didn't exist. 13 years ago when I started really getting sick. And then on the other side, I was really, really happy that I'm part of that change and changing that for people and helping remove those barriers. So it's bittersweet too
Yeah.
sometimes, you know. So it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
challenge, but it can be a positive challenge.
Right. Right. But there's progress, and that's the good thing to keep in mind. But it's also the uphill battle is exhausting, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
being able to go back to people who you draw strength from is so important.
it is. It
Yeah.
really, really is.
Oh goodness. So if people wanted to reach out to you, learn more about what you're doing, or may even, need to figure out how do they find a strength group for themselves, how would they reach out to you? How would they find out more about you and what you're doing?
They can find me on my website, which is ilevel.works. So EYELEVEL.works, WORKS. And at LinkedIn, it's at Sarah E. Kirwan. So SARAHEKIRWAN.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah, that'd be great for people to connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, how you're helping others. It's kind of like, the hand up to help, somebody else to help you, and the hand down for you to help someone who's
Yeah.
coming behind you to help them. So it's
It's
great,
really
great stuff.
interesting too thank you. And when I think about, often people are so sad when you share a diagnosis or you share an experience. And I'm to a point where, I want to move the question or the conversation beyond that kind of immediate stop of, oh my gosh, you had this happen to you, to be just a part of our typical conversations.
Right.
um, and not have or to have that awareness increase around the experiences. And that's where I find my strength and feel empowered because I do have shared experiences in that
Excuse me.
space. Bless you.
Sorry.
I love that. I'm going to take a quick sip of water. um so yeah, so it's an incredible space to be in. I i often hear people who are longer term diagnosed or living with a disability. There's gratitude for the experiences that we've had that change how we view the world, right? What
Right.
our
Right.
focus and priority is, and the relationships that I've built within the community. That is absolutely where I draw my strength from. And those
Mm.
relationships have sustained me for 13 years. And I'm really, I don't want to say that I'm grateful for these diagnoses, but I'm grateful for the experience. And I'm grateful for the fact that I can use my voice to help make change and to help other people not experience the same barriers. So it's really, it's an interesting mix, and I really enjoy the work that I do, and I love being in the community and doing that work with people and seeing the aha moments for the individuals that are interacting with the people from the disability community.
Yeah, that's fabulous. That's absolutely fabulous. Now, obviously, you've had a lot of challenges, but do you have any challenges that you have faced as a professional woman, in addition to all the other challenges that you've had? As if
I
you
think
haven't had enough.
which, yeah, well, and I think they're just all rolled into that, right?
Yeah,
Because the
yeah.
work that I do is so personal, but it's also my professional job. And so I have a master's degree in business or in public administration. And so
Okay.
I'm thankful for that. So I see the business aspect of all of this. But I also bring the person with a disability lived experience expertise there. And so I think that in any of those situations, it's always a challenge because you're constantly and consistently providing feedback and information and insights and all of that. And so I've kind of refused to shut my mouth at this point.
Good. I love it. Oh, perfect.
No, I told my
Good for you.
husband, I said, oh my goodness, I said, I'm sure I'm rubbing some people the wrong way, but it's time. It's time for our community to have a voice and to speak up and to get their needs met.
Good for you and good for them. Good. You're a good leader. Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Now you have a lot of work ahead of you. I mean, because that's definitely a lot of improvement, of course, that has happened, but still needs to occur as well. But going into the time machine going forward, what's your vision of retirement?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I thought about this a lot. And my vision would be for my husband and I, with our rescue dogs, to go to a space where we have like an acreage with a pool. I really would like a hot tub.
I
And
like
I
that.
would like to have one horse and an area where I can just take care of stray animals who've been abandoned.
Oh, that's
That's my
adorable.
that's what I would absolutely love. And to not have to be able to step back, to have seen that I've empowered people to step up so I can step back, because I also think it's important to empower people that are coming behind us to use their voices and open those doors for them as well.
I love that. Step up so that I can step back. That is fabulous. Fabulous.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Oh,
Thank you.
enjoy, enjoy. I love that thought pattern. I
I
was just
love the
speaking,
thought of sitting by a
yeah,
pool. So,
yeah, and the hot tub I like even more because I'm always cold, so I like the hot tub.
right? Totally, totally.
Oh, that is perfect. Oh, I love the scenario. It oh, sounds idyllic for sure. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been such a pleasure to get to know you, and I really hope some people reach out to you and do some networking. And if somebody needs help, or they can help you. Hopefully there's something that good that comes from this session for you.
Well, I appreciate that. And what's good for me, what I always say is if I can impact one person through a conversation, just one person to change a perception or to see a light bulb moment or an aha moment, that is what is worth it to me. And when I was
Yeah,
younger, I thought, oh my gosh, the weight of the world is on my shoulders because I have so
yeah,
much work to do. And now
yes,
I say to myself, it's incremental. We all make mistakes. It's going to be baby steps. And as long as I see, or not see, but I know I'm making an impact on one person, that's all I need, right?
right,
Because
right.
I know that the impact or the change in attitude from that one person will spread.
Yeah,
Um, and so, what I really try to do is I try to make an impact whenever possible.
that's a great way to live. Great way to live.
And I
Well, thank
really
you so
appreciate you
much.
having me because my opportunity to educate and provide awareness in this space um, is really, really a great opportunity for me. And I really appreciate that.
Oh, I'm honored to have you. So this is a win-win for everyone, I think.
Well,
And
thank
I hope,
you.
yeah, I hope that a lot of people who listen, start following you on LinkedIn and maybe take a perusal of your website and, see if there's a way that they can, step up and help out. So that's a great outcome that could happen.
Thank you, Regina. It was so
Yeah.
lovely to be here, and I look forward to staying in touch
Yes.
and talking with you again soon.
Excellent, excellent. And thanks everyone else for joining us today. Again, I'm Regina Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. Our website is forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, and Facebook at Forge Wealth, and LinkedIn. I'm Regina McCann Hess. Go have a great day. And your action item today is stand up so someone else can step back. Thanks.